Jai Shri Krishna Guruji. Hello, Guruji.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna.
So today I had read your article that was there on changemywayoflife.com. And in that article, you were telling us about the people that actually come to you in spiritual. There were several categories of people. Can you tell me about that?
Well, when we started, this is way back in time, about 25 years ago, 20 years ago, the type of people that came to me were in the age group between, say, 20 to 60, 20 to 60. And these were mostly women and less number were men. Now, the demographic has changed over a period of time. Later on, slowly, the family members started coming. And then after older people also joined in, a 75-year-old person also joining in. And then as time went by, coronavirus happened. I had already shifted over to online. So there was no question of having people in front of me to give them some spiritual guidance. But it so happens that during the coronavirus, a lot of changes happened. So you will find that a lot of youngsters started coming. And thereafter, some college students also who came. And in the last few years, children have started coming. Now, they were egged by their parents naturally. They were told by their parents, you come and meet Guruji, maybe you will get some better knowledge. The reason is these children were not exposed to spiritual. In a sense that the generation which came during my time, when I was very young, my parents were not that keen on spirituality. And the further generation also, we were not so much keen. My children also were not so keen on the spiritual stuff. Now, the whole scenario has changed. The younger generation is very, very much interested in it. They want to know a lot of things and they have been questioning a lot. The biggest question, like I said to you last time, was where do I start?
Yes.
So this starting itself is a problem because see, other religions have scriptures, they have teachers, they have their madrasas, they have their Sunday schools and all that. So youngsters can be taught over there, but not in Hinduism, not in the Sanatan Dharma. We don't have any kind of teaching. There is no scripture also which I can say you start with this scripture. It's a very common thing, like you start with Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavad Gita is for a much advanced level of a student, not for a younger person.
Hmm.
So that doesn't serve the purpose. Now, why did these people come is also a very strange thing,
Why is it? Why did they come, Guruji?
Yeah, the younger generation turned up. I'm talking about those who are, say, maybe college going, to those who have started their job or maybe have just started a family, maybe that age group between 20 and say 35 or 40.
Hmm.
Now, this generation, which is my kids' generation, I can say, since their parents themselves were not exposed to spirituality, this generation wanted to know more. They saw the whole world following some kind of a religious structure. All these religions were doing that, except Sanatan Dharma. We may have about 1 billion people in Sanatan Dharma, but they are not die-hard followers. They are not interested. Most of them are not interested. I think 99% of those who are interested, the believers, they are also into rites, rituals, visiting temples, and those kind of things. They are not very keen on learning about Sanatan Dharma because nobody understands it. There are teachers, yes, of course, you can see YouTube is filled with them, but there is no proper way of bringing this to the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
First is there is no book. So, what book to start with? Second is you need qualified teachers. Where do you find qualified teachers? There are some great gurus online, no doubt about it, but you can't find time with them. They are not going to give you time to even talk to you, even for a moment. They are very busy.
Mm.
They are literally like world figures. The teaching is done by the second level, third level, or the fourth level of disciples
Mm-hmm.
who I think may not be qualified at all.
Mm.
Because if you want to see the past, you will find that there were enlightened masters who established a Gurukul system where spirituality was one of the major subjects that they taught. And it was done in a very systematic manner. That system doesn't exist anymore. In India, Gurukul today is like a school. First and foremost, if I want to start a Gurukul, I have to go and get the government permissions. Gurukuls were not educational institutions. If someone is teaching statecraft, that is not taught in schools. Which school teaches you that? Tell me. How to be a king? Does anybody teach you that?
No.
No, nobody teaches you. How to be a warrior? Is it taught in schools? No, nobody teaches. So these youngsters were very keen on the knowledge. They wanted to know, do I have to pray to some God? Why do I have to pray to this God? Why is it that gods, GODS, small GODS, why are there so many of them? Why can't we have one God just like, Islam or Christianity? Why can't we have that? So their questions were valid and they had curiosity. The most important thing is curiosity. You need to have curiosity to actually get into spiritual.
Yes.
And then the next thing that you need to have is queries. You need to raise questions. That means if you don't question and if you don't get the answers, what is the point? So these are something that came about. This particular lot was a highly confused lot because the confusion came in the form of yoga. Everybody thinks yoga means going and doing some kind of an exercise. You take a yoga mat, you go and sit for a class, do this exercise over there. That is not yoga. Ashtanga yoga is different. And those who are teaching it are doing it for money. See, when you involve money in this kind of a venture, it doesn't work. Simply put, have you ever seen the priests in the temple in other places, like say for example a church, saying, I will charge you so much of money to have Bible studies? Now let us come to our world. Now in Sanatan Dharma, you have these people in the world who are doing a lot of wrong stuff. First and foremost, they are not interested in running a kind of the temple or the church or something like that. They don't have anything like that. So where are they going to do this? Where are they going to get the money from? So they keep on charging. So for yoga classes, you have to charge so much of money. Yoga is not meant for that purposes, but it is today used for health purposes. See, think about it. Yoga is actually religion. Yoga is purely meant for religious purposes. You're supposed to attain moksha. The end goal is moksha.
Yes.
It is not body exercise, but it has been converted into body exercise. We had a system in India. Everybody left their slippers outside, their chappals outside, footwear. You are supposed to bow down to your parents as also to your elders. But today's day and age, nobody bows down to anybody. The parents are also running after money. They are also doing whatever they feel like. They don't have any idea because their parents never taught them. So these are the difficulties. And that is why this new generation, which I am talking about, which is actually a younger generation, they are very, very confused with their own parents, with religion, with God, and with everything. They don't know what to do. They think that when they see on the YouTube and other places, they think that this guru is there, he's only interested in milking everybody for money. So that is something which is happening. Second thing is they are on the verge of trying to get a job. They want to go to big institutions, say in the college. Now they have an idea that if I want to get better ranks, I should go and pray to God. Which God? Oh, the easiest one is Sai Baba, You go to Sai Baba temple, give some money over there, and yes, Sai Baba will grant you. Now the next is job. I need a job. Which God gives me job? So it is like a list of gods. I go to this God, I get this. I go to this God, I get this. It's like a visa God, I'm sure you have heard of Visa Balaji. You want a US visa? Go to this God. I mean, today we have made it into a petty thing. You don't go to God for getting visa. In our place, we have different gods. You go and appease them. What are you talking about? This is not religion. This is false beliefs. These are beliefs which have been created by people. Think on those lines. Your God is giving you, yes, no doubt about it. You go to God and say, God, give me a child. Doesn't Jesus Christ and the Father in heaven give? He
Mm.
gives. Okay. You go to, say, Lourdes, you get water from there. It cures many people. Yes, there is a God who gives, no doubt about it. But then you have differentiation. For this God, I go here. For that God, I go there. This goddess is very good. This goddess will give me, a very good husband. Spirituality will teach you all this is already programmed from the beginning.
Mhm.
Your destiny was already written before you were born. Which God can give you what? He's not going to remove it from his pocket and give you. If you are already programmed to go to USA, you will land up in USA. If you are supposed to get married to X person, you will get married to that X person. It is called destiny. It
Mm.
is called prarabdha karma. It's a beautiful subject.
Mm.
So these children don't have that idea. And they are just going where other people are going. Then they want to have a good love life. Everybody wants to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and maybe have a better life.
Yes.
Then what do? Go and ask God. Do you understand? This is the confusion. I want something, go to God. Which God? Some neighboring God or some God somewhere. Go appease him, give him 1 kg of some pedas or something like that, and yes, that God is going to grant you. Tadhastu, you will get it. It's like that. That is not how it is. Then lot of wrong things started happening. The younger generation got into bad habits like smoking, drinking, drugs, and so on.
Mm.
Now, when that happens, you want to give up. What do? See, AA is there, Alcoholic Anonymous is there, no doubt about it. On the cigarette packets, it's written, smoking is injurious to health and all that. Drugs are forbidden in many countries. But then, how do you give them up? So they turn towards spirituality. There are lots of drug addicts who have come to me in the past also. And they want release from their problems that they are having. Though they are attending some kind of a therapy or something, but it does not help them. So these things are there. Marriage, and then sometimes children. Today, many children are born autistic.
Yes.
There is a lifestyle problem in all these people. And today, that IVF and other ways of having babies is already there, predominant. Most of the people in that age group, even that 30, 35 age group, they can't have children. It is pathetic.
Mm.
This problem is not from that age. It is started way back in time. So, we can use spirituality to get over this issue.
Huh.
So, this particular group is very, very important for us.
Yes. The young adults, they're kind of caught in a bad position. They probably would know that these things are wrong, but they haven't any tools to help themselves out of it.
This is one of the good tools, I can say.
Yes. Yes, it is. And more frightful is the idea that there's such a big group of people who are misdirected and they, in fact, are having children and raising those children among their own chaos.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
See, that becomes a next group also.
Wow. Yeah.
So, if I have to tell you about the next group is having his own set of issues. Their issues are far greater than the earlier generation. The next group, in our terms, we can say they are householders. See, a householder is somebody who might be married, may have children. The children may be going to school and all that. And they are also having a job and all that. So their issues are different than the earlier topic that we did. They are going through one major issue. These people, say 35 onwards, we can say 35 to say 55.
Yes.
The world over, the problem is mind problem. You understand? Depression, anxiety, PTSD, this, that, so many things. In this last 20 years, these cases have shot through the roof. Plus, there is another generation where they don't even know what gender they are in. That is something which came about suddenly out of the blue.
Mm.
See, that kind of a revolution, no doubt about it, it was there existing in the past, but it was not so predominant. Today, it has taken the center stage. And that is one more issue. We don't know who we are. Are we a man? Are we a woman? Are we some other? It is plaguing the minds of youngsters in this age group also. They don't know what to do. They have their set of problems with their spouses also.
Mm.
The rate of divorces have gone through the roof across the world. India is no exception. I tell you, so many divorces are happening. And today, it is very easy to get a divorce also. People are very, very short tempered. They don't want to see in life like, oh, I have to adjust myself. No, there's no adjustment today. You have to do this, I have to do this. So this is one issue.
Yes.
So emotional rut. They are in emotional rut. They don't know what to do. Then children. When they have children, these parents of these children, they don't know how to raise their kids also.
Mm.
Today, every child has one phone in hand. It might be a 4-year-old also, does not matter. He is playing games on it, or he is doing some other thing on the phone. He's got his iPad, he's got his computers. The youngsters, they are now into games. They are now into all kinds of Netflix and this and that. This generation is also into what we call as the money game. They are very much into gambling online and God knows too many things.
Mm.
This generation, which we are talking about, has another issue. That issue is their job. See, job is a big problem nowadays. In the last 20 years, people have lost jobs. So many people lost their jobs. So their job is a major issue. Money, which comes in hand with the job, money shortages, EMI payments. That means they have to pay for everything. They want to keep up with everybody. So they will buy fancy cars. They will buy houses in crores of rupees, big, big houses. But you got to afford to pay them. So they are burdened with EMIs. So the salary structure has to be worked out. These things are there. So their worry is there. Constantly they are worried. Constantly they are disappointed with what is happening in their life. Then while they are paying their EMI, their right around the corner is their retirement.
Mm.
They have to think in terms of retirement. Another thing is insurance. These problems, which I'm talking about, is a general problem with everybody. So when they have these issues which they can't solve, naturally they have approached people like us. So when they come to me, I have to not only structure their life, because spirituality just doesn't mean that I have to tell them there is God and this and that. No. They also have a material world to address, isn't it?
Yes.
So I have to teach how to do this, how to raise funds, those kind of things also. Plus, if they are buying houses, they will consult. Naturally, they can. So there are lots of things which go hand in hand with this group. And their retirement is looming ahead of them. They don't have any money. How do you get into the state of retirement? So they want to keep on working. Health. Health is such a big concern for this group, especially diabetes and heart attacks and things like that are happening to them. And coronavirus brought in a lot of problems in everybody's life.
Yes.
So health issues are there. Cancer is spreading like nobody's business.
Mm.
And that is when you turn towards spiritual. So you will find that these are few things connected to this group when they believe that there must be some solution in spiritual. So this is a group of people I definitely address, because They need solutions and they have to get to it. So we have to offer them solutions which are spiritually and material worldly also. Both these combined. Plus, they will be able to train children. They have their children, isn't it? So
Yeah.
they should be able to give the right knowledge to their children. So they need this kind of a training. And that is this one more group that we are talking about.
And then I guess by 55 you may be having grandchildren by then as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Well,
Yes.
I don't have at the moment, so I can't say much.
Yeah.
Then, one of the major groups, like I started with, is women. Today's women are so much inclined towards spirituality because right at the beginning of their life, when they become teenagers, from that time onwards, they undergo massive changes in their lifestyle, in their bodies, in their being. They go through so many heartaches. There are too many things happening to them. Marriage is one more, children are one more. You know, it goes on and on and on. Then education of children. They have to do a job as well. They have to take care of their house. You know how many issues women have? Men don't have that many issues. Women have more issues than men. First is you have to adapt to marriage. Second, then you have to adapt to a child, when you become pregnant. There are hormonal changes happening. There are so many bodily changes happening. Then as they grow older, by the time they come to 40s and all, it is the perimenopausal state. Nobody has addressed what is PCOS, what is PCOD. Nobody knows. Then they have to go to the doctors and then they have to try to solve the issue. But can we nip it in the bud somewhere down the line? If they can take a training and have a better lifestyle, things can change. So, in this Change My Way of Life program, we are including a holistic method how they can have a smoother lifestyle, not go through hell in life. And then as you cross your menopausal age, there is another set of issues that come about. So the women becomes a very important group. Another thing is they are very much keen on devotional aspect with God. So they have been trained by maybe their parents or whoever, and they have been doing temple visits and all that. But again, ritualism. They only know rituals. They don't actually know spirituality the way it is. So they have to know the self. They have to know this God that we are talking about. They have to know what is devotion. Who is this Krishna and Jesus, or who are all these. So they have to know this, and that is what we have to give them. So this is one more segment which is so critical. I am doing Bhagavad Gita for women on the sidelines. It is there in our entire satsangs that I am doing. So that is one more group that is important. And then there are two more which are remaining. One is the children I told you about. And the last one is older generation. These people are like, those, they don't want to listen to anything. They think they know too much. And they say, yes, yes, we have done this course, we have done that course, we have gone to this Swamiji, we have gone to that Swamiji. Swamijis are not going to be teaching you anything. Swamijis will tell you, do this puja, that puja, do go to this temple, pay money over there, do this, do. That is what? That is not spirituality. And then the retired life is actually meant for the purpose of sannyas ashram, which means you are supposed to take sannyasa, not sit and watch TV and switch channels. But what do these people do? They sit at home. They complain about their diseases all the time. I have this problem. I have gout problem. I have, arthritis problem. I have cough. I have cold. I go to the doctor. My teeth are aching. This is happening. That is happening. They're constantly in that state of ill health. And they have to keep on complaining. No God in their life. For them, God is secondary. They go to the temple just for the ache of it sometimes. That is another group which requires, a lot of brainwashing about God, because they need to actually listen to all these satsangs. Yeah. So that is one more group we have to talk to.
Well, I think about that group in particular in that as people get older, they've been married, 50 years or more. And while one spouse may be ready to investigate spiritual, the other spouse is not and is dead set against it.
I think it is very difficult for them. It has happened during the olden times also. You will find that a story of Tukaram is there where his wife was not agreeable to any of these things. When you get into spiritual like a sannyasi or something, that's an extreme step. Extreme step. Nobody is saying you have to become a sannyasi. You can be at home, you can follow very simple guidelines, and you can be in spiritual, no doubt about it. Your spirituality is your own. It is like a hobby, like all the people have some different hobbies. But if the moment you say, I am in spirituality, the first thing they will say is, what is wrong with you? Okay? Something wrong with you today. Are you not getting money? Are you having a problem? Are you having some diseases or something that cannot be so? Spirituality is not meant for that. So this is the confusion which they have. The confusion is, why are you in spiritual? They don't know the answer. They think spirituality means going to some god, to some guru. There is no answer. The problem is that human beings have to find the answer. The whys and the wherefores of spirituality, we will decipher them for that generation as well. So even if somebody is going through this crisis in their life, where the family members do not agree with them, or their spouses disagree with them, or maybe the whole world by itself, they say spirituality is all trash. No, they have to at least understand, and you have to get the freedom to practice what you are doing. Are you disrupting the world? No. This is not magic. This is not nothing like that. It is just following something that I love. Devotional path is like that. On the devotional path, you don't have to do any rites and rituals and stuff like that. See, the what I teach is only devotional path. There is no hard and fast rule where you have to spend money for some purposes. There is nothing like that. You don't have to go to any temples, or you don't have to go and do any pujas or parts or sit in meditation for hours. Nobody wants you to do that. The type of spirituality that I teach doesn't even involve yoga. No yoga is required. In my world, yoga means union with God. I have to be one with God. Okay, that is yoga for me. When you talk of breathing exercises, well, breathing exercises, very simple breathing exercises. Is the balance of breath. That is all. Nothing beyond that. There is no sitting for meditation, because what meditation are you doing? I am doing just some bhajans, kirtans and talking about God. That is enough for meditation. I think that should be more than enough. So there is nothing like a ritualism, rites. I have to go to some temple, give some dakshana over there, do this prayer, have to do fasting and all. There is no fasting required also. There is no restriction in devotional path. That's it. If you want, do it in your own way, in your own leisure. So if the other person understands this, that he or she is not involved in this kind of a activity where you have to do certain kinds of things, then I think it will become easier for that person, because nobody is disrupting their life. Got it?
Yes. I know we had been talking about the retirees, and you wanted to speak of another group.
Yeah. So that was children, like I said, children are very keen on stories. The kind of stories that are given to them, they are written by some writers. There is nothing real in that. The stories should give spiritual meaning. The storytellers today are not giving any spiritual meaning. It's nonsense. That is not correct. See, a spiritual master normally gives the meaning of the story which applies to them in their life and which is going to give them spiritual will. The idea should be that. So, stories like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and various other stories that are there, they have to appeal to them. Then there should be a primer. primer of, say, teaching children, what are the basic activities? See, children can come in the path of spiritual provided they do their homework in school, provided they go to school in time. See, their priority should be that, no doubt about it, their regular life. Today, it is all about games. It's all about going on the computer or the phone or playing all kinds of things outside, which for them there is no exposure. So they need to have a certain exposure because by the time they grow up, they will have a better understanding of the subject. So the foundational kind of a training has to be given to them. This is an important group and it has to be along with the parent also. You should never teach the children alone. There should be a parent around to guide them and tell them, okay, this is correct. And then things will happen from there onwards. We did a program, recently where we had the parent also sitting in while the children were asking questions. It was a very beautiful session. It was a trial session we did and it really went off quite well. And children asked a lot of beautiful questions, no doubt about it. So that is the group which, it's a nascent group. It's a small group, but we need to address it also. So this is a kind of a thing. Spirituality has to be catered to different people in different fashion. This is what is required. Or different age groups, different kind of training in different aspects of their life vis-a-vis spirituality has to be given to them. That is the idea. And we will be definitely doing that in our place.
Yes. Well, all of education is broken down by levels. So it makes sense that spirituality would be also taught that way.
Yes.
And when it comes to children, it seems that the children are actually the ones who end up teaching their parents, right? They're the ones who will hold their the parents accountable.
First, parents should also know.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. The parents needs the tools. So for a parent, like what type of tool might they have?
See, Adi Shankaracharya, he realized this problem. So what he did was he created small scriptures. Also prayer scriptures. See, there are scriptures where the basically prayers addressing Krishna and so on and so forth. Now, it becomes a part of a package, you see. I give them an idea about spirituality by first explaining the terminologies, telling them what it is, where does this so-called soul come into the picture, how does it enter the body, what happens to it, who are these gods, we are talking about, why do we need so many gods, why not have one god? These are the questions. So Shankaracharya had given very beautiful explanation for this. And later on, once we have graduated from this level, then the next level can be the different types of spirituality that exist. And since our type is mostly devotional, so we introduce them the subject of devotional, which doesn't require that rigorous reading and learning and things like nothing. You just practice it in leisure, whichever place you are in. There is no such thing that you have to go to some place, sit in some asanas and all, and there's nothing required. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, it is not a yoga studio or anything like that. Satsangs are only places where you meet once in a while. Come together. People, those who are like-minded people will listen. They can question the Guru. This is also there. So there is a system which we are drawing out today. And there are satsangs where we have done this before. Plus there are lots of Q&As. Because every generation has a question in front of them. They want to know a lot of stuff. So we address Q&A separately. That is outside the regular courses. So we can do that as well. So the idea is there we will create a very simple structure for everybody to understand. Thereafter, we will create some activity based kind of a thing. And then Q&A, some satsangs and Q&A. That's it. I think that should give them a very good knowledge about spiritual. That is my idea.
Yes. And once somebody has found out about this opportunity uh, to learn, how would one keep themselves involved in it?
Oh, yes. You are right about it. See, today's day and age, what has happened is this is an internet issue. Like we are in the world of internet. Everything happens through the internet. So we also have adopted that kind of a internet in our world. So what we do is we create a community where like-minded people who are in that particular age group or that's study group, they can come together. They can answer some questions, they can ask some questions. There will be definitely people who will solve their issues for them. Plus there are queries, they can raise queries, and they can come for kind of a group activity somewhere we can have. Then we can have some kind of a trekking or a pilgrimage or something like that. See, they have to know what is this god that we are visiting, for what reason. So all that knowledge can be given in this community. So the community formation is very important for us. That is the place where you can interact with others, because others can also answer. But this will be exclusively a community which is meant for that purpose of spreading spiritual knowledge. That's it. The idea is that.
Yes, Guruji. So, was there any other information that you wanted to share today?
And I think enough for today. We have done enough for today.
Well, thank you so much, Guruji, for talking with us today. Thank you again. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to learn more about the Change My Way of Life community, please visit our website. And if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe. Thank you.